Hey everybody, banging out two reviews today actually. This one is another one that I didn't get a chance to get around to, but it is the latest Megadeth release, Super Collider. So, kicking right into this, there's a lot of controversy around this record, and I'm gonna say right off the bat that it's not as bad as some people are making it out to be. A lot of people are comparing it to Risk, and you know, I it's definitely more metallic than Risk, um, but I'll get into some of that later. So I'm gonna go off the bat and say that it's not as bad as some people have said. So kicking in, the lineup here actually hasn't changed, which is nice. I think Chris Broderick on lead guitar is one of the greatest weapons in modern Megadeth's arsenal. He's a great lead guitarist. He's my favorite lead guitarist in Megadeth since Marty Friedman, and he has some awesome solos on this record. And I mean Dave does some decent ones too, but Chris Broderick is just a great piece on this album. So cracking into the record here, Kingmaker was the second single they released. It's definitely one of the thrashier, more metal tracks on the record, and it's okay. There's a lot of similarities with the verse, melody, and even guitar of the Black Sabbath song "Children of the Grave." It just sounds kind of sped up, and the lyrics are kind of blah, which is you're gonna notice is a recurring theme as I go through this album. Then the first single, the title track, "Super Collider," I'm not a big fan of this song. It's just, and again, they're trying to do more, hard rock type songs on this record, which is fine because I think he did really well with that on Cryptic Writings. I know a lot of metal purists will disagree with me on that, and even a few on Risk, I'm going to go on record as saying were good hard rock Megadeth songs, but Super Collider is just not it. Again, there's some cool solos on this track, but it's not a very good thing. The lyrics are cheesy and not in a good way. Which then takes us to Burns, the next track, which the intro solo of that is just awesome. I love the way that song starts. I think the chorus is stupid, but there's a cool riff there in the verse that I really like. Again, just bad lyrics. Built for War, again, cool riff, cheesy chorus lyrics. Off the Edge, once again, you're continuing with this trend on, really poor, weak, choruses with just kind of lazy lyrics. Again, really cool solos, really cool riffs on this song. Which brings us to Dance in the Rain, which is co-written by David Draymond and Disturbed. Which right off the bat, I had to roll my eyes on that one. I'm not particularly a big Disturbed fan. Dave Mustaine doesn't, has written some of the best metal records in music history. He doesn't really need any help. But, he co-wrote this. Supposedly, David Draymond even has vocals on this track somewhere, and I cannot hear them. So I don't know where they're at. If you know, go ahead and comment below and let me know. But I don't know where they're at. The lyrics a little overly paranoid, which disappoints me because Dave used to write some great political lyrics. Now, regardless of how you feel about his modern political stances, I'm not going to get into politics. I think that you can write a clever political song, regardless, whether you're on the right, the left, libertarian, conservative, liberal, whatever. And Dave used to do that really well. And here the lyrics just kind of come out as overly paranoid. They're not very sophisticated. I know Dave is getting into just a lot of this conspiracy type stuff lately, and it's just not very clever. He doesn't criticize the modern political landscape, in a clever way. It doesn't have that bite of, peace sells and things like that. And then the song ends really well though with there's this really nice speed riff, which is a shame because when this record, there's some really cool speed parts, throughout this record that you feel that he could have, written a really strong record in here somewhere, but it just doesn't happen. The next song that gets a lot of controversy is The Blackest Crow. And I actually kind of like the bluegrassy type elements, I like the slide guitar. I actually, kind of like those elements. And this is one of my favorite tracks, on the record. It's not that bad. And the lyrics actually aren't gut-wrenchingly horrible as opposed to some of the other ones. So that one's nice. And then Forget to Remember, it's a cheesy song. It's almost laughable. There's a conversation with a woman on the phone, kind of like 1,000 Times Goodbye on The World Needs a Hero. But this record is just mixed kind of poorly, and you can barely hear her. I mean, it's there, it's in the background, which again, I guess you don't want it to be over top of everything, but it'd be nice to make out what she's saying, at least. So, and there's some poor mixing on that. And then, Don't Turn Your Back, he references Enter Sandman on here. Is he talking about James Hetfield? I don't know. It's one of those things, feuds for him kind of come and go, they ebb and flow. Maybe that's what he's talking about, maybe not. I don't know. But it's an alright song. It's half okay. And then they do a Thin Lizzy cover of the song Cold Sweat. This is what they actually kind of end the record on. And it's really good. Megadeth could do a good job, covering. Most of their covers have been pretty good. Covered Sabbath and, Diamond Head and different bands, and their covers are always really well. That's one thing I like about Metallica. I think Metallica covers really well, and Megadeth continues to cover well on here. Then there's some bonus tracks, All I Want and House Divided, and they feel kind of underproduced. Which is weird because some of the older Megadeth bonus tracks have been really good songs, but here they kind of just feel undercooked. I kind of do feel that they weren't ready, and here they are. As bonus material, and they're kind of average. All I Want is, I don't know, about a girl. It's kind of stupid. And House of Odd has some brass, kind of mariachi sound and stuff, and it's okay. That's a lot of what I had to say about this record. It's okay. Is it the worst Megadeth record? Maybe. A lot of people really hate Risk. There's some standout tracks on Risk in my opinion, like Prince of Darkness, Insomnia, like Time in the Beginning and Time in the End. So I would say that this is worse than Risk in my opinion, but it's not as bad. I'm gonna go ahead and give it a review here before I start rambling too much. I'm gonna give it 6 out of 10. I think it's average, bordering poor. It's disappointing. I know Dave is going on record a lot, being Dave, and saying that illegal downloading is hurting this record and different things, and I just don't feel that's the case. It feels like an uninspired record, and I think that's what's hurting it. There are, Black Sabbath had some pretty strong sales. Now again, that's a different situation here. Megadeth has been regularly releasing music, but it's just a weak record. Super Collider failed to impress people. Kingmaker, didn't really cement it, and it's a shame because the past couple albums have been really good. 13 was really good. United Abominations I thought was great. Endgame was really solid. They were on a really good trend, and I feel like they kind of stumble a little bit on this record, which isn't the end of the world. They can't all be masterpieces. So it is what it is. You can probably safely skip this one if you are not ecstatic about Megadeth. You're not a huge Megadeth fan. I like to have all their stuff. I'm kind of obsessive about completing band catalogs, so I have it. It's alright. I doubt I'll be digging it out very much, so there you go. That's how I feel about the latest Megadeth record. So there we go. Thanks for checking out.